Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for our webinar today. We are really looking forward to having the chance to chat to you all about the high-speed routes to Belgium, Holland, and beyond. My name is Sarah Turner. I work in the marketing department here at Railbookers, and it is my pleasure to announce that at the end of the presentation today, somebody will win a £50 travel voucher with us, and absolutely everybody will be entitled to an exclusive attendee discount. So definitely stay tuned until the end, and I will be revealing all then. Just while we're at it, you can see our phone number there on the bottom of the screen and our website address too. So just take those details down. We are open after this webinar. If you've got any questions or anything like that, you want to speak to one of our rail experts, they are standing by ready to talk to you. So before we have a look at some of our favourite holidays, it would be great to chat to you about what we hope you already know, why book with Railbookers. And first and foremost, we hope that you all know we are the rail experts, and we have got such a fantastic team here in our London office. We've also got offices in California and in Boston, and they're wonderful as well. But the team here are real train geeks for everything to do with European rail travel and rail travel all over the world. They know the best routes, timings, all of the different rail systems all over the world like the backs of their hands, and they love chatting to you about your rail holidays as well. What they do is use our insider access, so direct partnerships with the rail companies, hotels, sightseeing providers, transfer providers all over the world, and these partnerships mean that we have access to special rates and to availability that's not accessible to the public. It's all about making it completely flexible for you guys. You can book your holiday with us at any time, even if tickets aren't available to the public yet, and we can tailor-make anything that you see on a webinar, in a brochure, on our website, in one of our newsletters. We can tailor-make anything to your exact requirements. Everybody's holiday will be different. Essentially, we just want it to be hassle-free. It's, it can be complicated booking a rail holiday with so many different routes, trains, different providers, different languages even, but that's where we step in. We just want to make it so that all you have to do is show up, get on the train, sit back and relax, enjoy your holiday. All these reasons why we are so proud to have won so many industry awards in our field. I said we have direct partnerships. Here are just a couple of the rail companies that we work with directly that enable us to offer you that fantastic availability. You can book your holiday at any time, and also, of course, the very best value as well. A couple of the different types of holiday that you can book with rail, because as I mentioned, absolutely everything we do is tailor-made. We know that no two people have ever wanted the exact same holiday before, and it's not about to happen now. So whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's adding nights on, taking a stop off en route, or just building your own itinerary and letting us kind of work our magic with it, we can tailor-make absolutely anything you like. Of course, we specialise in scenic rail journeys. We're going to look at some of our most popular scenic rail journeys today. Some of the ones that are always really, really popular, taking the best scenery around the world. We also organise loads of luxury and private train journeys. So if you have an anniversary or a big birthday or a special occasion next year that you're looking forward to, what better way to celebrate than with one of those iconic train journeys. Myself, I just got back off the Orient Express at the end of October. So I'm probably going to do a webinar on it just so that I get the chance to talk about it as much as possible. But a lot of our staff have kind of experienced these journeys. They can talk you through the whole process. We also, of course, we do city breaks, a bit closer to home, but it's really fantastic how far you can get by rail and sail as well. If you're a lover of cruises, you can definitely do pre or post cruise rail holidays, lakes and mountains holidays as well. Another little bit of that fantastic scenery that the train takes you right through the heart of. Of course, our top destinations, some of our top destinations are Belgium and to Holland and beyond, as we're going to talk about in this webinar, but some of our others, Italy and Switzerland, those amazing scenic journeys through the Alps, kind of the perfect destinations for very scenic rail travel. Spain and Portugal as well. I know that as soon as it kind of starts to get very, very cold and damp and rainy, I start thinking about my summer holiday and escaping to kind of warmer climes, which I certainly was thinking at 6 a.m. walking to Manchester Station in the pouring rain this morning. I would have loved to have been in Spain or Portugal in the summer, so can completely see why those are two of our top destinations. Scandinavia, staying in Europe, is really, really popular at the moment, whether it's Norway in a nutshell and the amazing fjords and those iconic journeys, or if it's kind of linking the major capital cities and the major cities by sleek high-speed trains, always really popular. And the USA and Canada as well. Just some of the most fantastic train journeys in the country, whether that's in the world, sorry, whether that's coast to coast in Canada or the US, or just linking some of the favourite cities that you've always wanted to visit. USA and Canada have definitely the best rail opportunities. Okay, so let's get started. We've got 5 very exciting holidays to chat to you guys about today. We're going to start off with an absolute classic, Bruges and Amsterdam. So this includes rail travel all the way from London to Brussels to Bruges and then up to Amsterdam as well. Obviously you can extend your trip, you don't have to just spend 2 nights in each place, so that it would be a great way to spend a long weekend. You can add more nights, you can stop off en route. If you wanted to head up to Amsterdam first and then do Bruges on the way back, that's no problem either. So let me talk you through the journey. You start off, obviously whatever your home train station is in the UK, you can take the train down to London, we can organise that, and in London you will board the Eurostar. So from London to Brussels is only 2 hours by train. Incredibly high speed rail network available on the Eurostar. From Brussels, it's less than an hour on from Brussels to Bruges, just a really quick platform change. You don't have to change stations or anything like that. Bruges is an absolutely wonderful city. I've got a soft spot for it. It was the first city I ever visited with Railbookers in my second week. I got a really nice trip to Bruges, and it's the capital of West Flanders. It's full of, lovely winding canals, cobbled streets, obviously famous for the kind of medieval buildings and architecture that you can see in that picture. We organise a lot of things like beer tastings and chocolate tastings for our customers while they're out there, obviously kind of sampling the best of everything that Belgium has to offer. And from there, it is not too far. You can either go to up to Antwerp or down to Brussels and take the high-speed Thalys train up to Amsterdam. So for those of you who haven't travelled on a Thalys train before, these are super high-speed trains that really enable you to take in, so much of Europe and so much of this kind of an area with these quick journey times. The train travels up to 300 kilometres an hour. And newly, for December 17 and onwards, obviously, through next year and beyond, there are now 3 classes of travel on the Thalys. So we can book whichever class you like for your holiday. They used to just have Comfort 1 and Comfort 2, which was basically like standard class and first class. Now there's going to be standard, comfort and premium. So even if you go for standard, it's still incredibly comfortable and modern. You get free Wi-Fi, power sockets at your seat, that sort of thing. For comfort, if you upgrade, you get the first class seating. So everything that you get with standard, plus obviously different seating configurations. There's less seats in a carriage, so you're going to have more space. And if you go right for the top one, for premium, you'll get a meal and drink included in your fare. That'll be served at your seat. And you'll get access to the lounges in Brussels and in Paris and big stations as well. So you get off the train in Amsterdam, Amsterdam Central, which is right in the centre of the city, as the name would imply. It only takes 1 hour 50 to get from Brussels to Amsterdam, so that is, really, really quick. The same sort of amount of time it takes to get from London up to Manchester or something like that. You could stop off in Rotterdam en route, have a couple of nights there if you'd like to. And Amsterdam itself, it is kind of one of our favourite cities here at Railbookers. It's such a relaxing place to go, lovely places to kind of sit and have a coffee and watch the world go by. Famous, of course, for its canals and for those gable-fronted houses that you can see there. One of the most amazing museum districts of any city in the whole of the world. Lovely to visit, obviously, in the winter you can see there, but in the spring as well for the amazing tulip markets and things like that. And did you know that you can tailor make your Railbookers holiday? Hopefully you do know, because I've said it many times, but we really need you guys to know this. You know, these are not set itineraries at all. You tell us what you want to do and you let us work out all of the details. Add nights, stop off en route, fly home from the last city, travel in reverse, or, you know, build something completely unique to you guys. We love tailor making your holiday. We want it to be absolutely perfect. Moving on to our second holiday, Paris and Bruges. So obviously we saw Bruges in the last holiday. This holiday goes to Paris first. So you go over from London to Paris. That takes just over 2 hours. Couple of nights in the capital of France, and then up to Brussels and on to Bruges before travelling home. Paris likely needs absolutely no introduction. As I said, it's only 2 hours away. I was there 2 weeks ago, went for a long weekend to go to a concert, and as many times as you as you go to Paris, you'll always find new things to see, new things to do. It is one of the major capital cities of the world. So romantic, so, you know, such a lovely place to spend time. It was really nice to go at Christmas. And we can certainly organise anything that you would like organising as well. So whether you wanted to add on a sightseeing tour, tickets to the summit of the Eiffel Tower, skip the line, admission to the Louvre. If you do want to go to any of the big museums, I definitely recommend skip the line admission and booking that in advance, because it can get very, very crowded and very long queues, as some of you may know. You can also organise cruises down the Seine, and there's a million wonderful things to do in Paris. Obviously, just strolling around, strolling down the banks of the river and kind of falling in love with it all over again is my favourite thing to do in Paris. From there, from Gare du Nord, which is the same station that the Eurostar pulls into, you can catch the Thalys from Paris up to Brussels. You know, it really is incredibly high speed rail, like we, just don't really have here in the UK. Very quick, very comfortable. Just that change in Brussels that we spoke about before will see you in Bruges. So a really, really quick journey to do one morning. You'll get to Bruges. You know, all of our hotels are situated, right near the main market square in Bruges. So you'll be right in the middle of the action. It's an incredibly walkable city, Bruges. The centre is, very easy to kind of just potter around. You won't have to take buses or a metro or anything like that to kind of see the very best of Bruges. Can climb the belfry in the main square. It's kind of amazing 13th century building, will give you views all over the city. Obviously we can do boat tours for you guys as well. You can tuck into some amazing Flemish cuisine. It's a really, really wonderful place to kind of spend a few relaxing days in kind of a fairy tale land. Brussels, Antwerp and Amsterdam is one of my favourite ones on this webinar, I think, just because it kind of shows just how easy it is to go from place to place. So Brussels to Amsterdam on that Thalys route. Antwerp is one of the stops. You can get off along the way and kind of see all the amazing things that there are to see there. These places are so close to our doorstep here in the UK. People obviously, travel right the way across the world or right the way across Europe. And there's really no need when there's so much to see and do that just, I think, a lot of people, myself included, I'm also guilty of this, don't spend enough time kind of doing the things that are really, really close to home. So you'll start off your journey in Brussels, which I think is one of the most underrated cities in the whole of Europe. It's obviously got that kind of side that everybody knows: chocolate, beer, waffles, moules frites. I mean, our managing director said to me about Brussels 20 minutes ago, he's like, what's not to love about Brussels? Chocolate, beer, waffles, moules frites. And he is right. That's certainly the case. But it's got a different side to it as well, with lots of vintage markets, wonderful kind of parks in the summer and things like that, really off the beaten track kind of side. Obviously, it's a huge cosmopolitan hub as well. And you can see the wonderful flowers there. Every 2 years, the Grand Place is decorated with just a carpet of begonias. And 2018, that will be happening again. So it wasn't there this year. So if you didn't get a trip into Brussels this year, next year is the perfect year to go, because it really is absolutely beautiful, very, very famous and a lovely thing to see. From Brussels, you can travel up to Antwerp, but you can shave about 20 minutes off the time by taking the high-speed Thalys train, or there is a local train that runs that route as well. It's really up to you. Antwerp is perfect for arriving into by train, as it has one of the most beautiful stations in all of the world, let alone all of Europe. It's also, of course, got that very famous diamond district. So if you are a lover of diamonds, or you know somebody who is, then you definitely want to either remember your wallet or conveniently leave your credit card at home for the visit. Of course, it's got that fantastic Flemish Renaissance architecture, the likes of which you can see there. It's also got absolutely fantastic zoo and loads of very chic art and design museums, things like that. Upwards to Amsterdam, it's only an hour and 12 minutes from Antwerp to Amsterdam, so that is a really, really quick journey time. And Amsterdam, you know, you can see there kind of all the pictures are sort of centered on the canals. It's because they really are kind of so central to the city. There's 165 of them, and loads and loads of, you know, thousands of houseboats as well, that is really interesting to see. A fun fact about the Amsterdam canals, they got a great reaction in the office this morning, is that apparently the water is so pure, so clean, that the zoo gives it to the elephants directly from the canals, and it's pure enough to drink. So I thought that that was a nice, interesting one, and who doesn't love a fact about zoo animals? Moving on to kind of a much bigger holiday. So London to Brussels to Amsterdam, Paris, Geneva, Venice, and Rome. Highlights of Europe this holiday. Goes to some of the most fantastic cities, and it includes all of the things that our product department have done, I think, that you just cannot miss. So all of our staff have sort of done these canal boat tour in Amsterdam, and the Rijksmuseum ticket. You absolutely have to visit the Rijksmuseum when you're in Amsterdam. Hop on, hop off buses, Eiffel Tower admissions, Paris Pass, so you can see the museums, things like that. Gondola ride in Venice. And admission in Venice to the St. Mark's Basilica and the Doge's Palace as well, and walking tours and things like that in Rome. So it really will ensure that you get the most out of all of these amazing cities before you either take the train home or fly back. You start off London to Brussels, as we've seen, Brussels to Amsterdam. Of course, there's going to be a high-speed Eurostar direct service to Amsterdam coming next year. It's all very hush-hush as to when exactly it will be, but we're looking forward to that very, very soon. So, of course, you'll be able to start this journey then with the direct train from London to Amsterdam if you'd like to. We'll include the iAmsterdam card for kind of the city's museums. And Amsterdam does have, you know, the best museums. Obviously, Van Gogh and the Rijksmuseum are two very famous ones, but then you've got the Anne Frank House, Rembrandt House, and, you know, there's even a museum dedicated to vodka there. You know, there's every topic you can think of under the sun in Amsterdam. Then you're going to take the train down to Paris, and the Thalys is just one of the kind of high-speed routes that you'll take on this journey. And it is fantastic, I think, in Europe, how rail travel, these high-speed trains just open the continent up. These vast distances are covered so quickly. It makes it possible to do, you know, itineraries where you visit the best cities in Europe, in Western Europe, you know, in 11 days. That is all thanks to high-speed rail. No checking in and things like that for flights at all. So from capital city to capital city, you'll then go to Paris. Obviously, you can have a couple of nights there. It means you don't have to change trains or change stations in order to catch your onward train. You'll come into Gare du Nord, which is the same station that you would if you got the Eurostar. Have a couple of nights in a hotel. If there is a specific area of Paris you'd like to be in, just let us know, as we do have hotels all over Paris. I stayed near the Bastille area when I was there 2 weeks ago, which was somewhere that I hadn't actually stayed before. I've normally kind of stuck to the same area. And so next time when I go in January, I'm determined to go to Montmartre and sort of see different bits and stay in different parts of the city. And certainly we're able to help with that, or if you've got a favourite part that you always like to stay in. From Paris, you can take the train to Geneva. It's only about 3 hours, so you'll have loads and loads of time in Geneva for the day. And then my favourite bit of this journey, and I did this back in October when I took the Orient Express. I took it from Venice back to London, and we took the trains out from London to Venice. It's just such a humble brag, I know, but it was absolutely brilliant. And this picture on the Geneva to Venice line is actually one I took myself from the window of a moving train, kind of as the sun came up over Lake Geneva. The Geneva to Venice service is so scenic. You go kind of spend a whole hour winding along the banks of Lake Geneva through Lausanne, Montreux. You go along the banks of Lake Maggiore as well, which is so beautiful. You can see all the little islands in the middle of the lake. Obviously, you'll wind through the Alps as well, get the amazing views of the mountains, which was just starting to get snow on them when we went in October. It was so warm. And then, obviously, the arrival into Venice itself is phenomenal. As you pull across the causeway, you can look out either window on either side, and all you can see is the Venetian lagoon kind of spreading out to the horizon. There is no better way to arrive in Venice than by train. Nobody will ever convince me otherwise. And the other fantastic thing about the Geneva to Venice route is that it's direct. So there is one direct train a day, which means you don't have to get off. You get on the train in Geneva, you get off 7 hours later in Venice, and 7 hours is such a joy to spend on this train. There's a dining car, you can obviously take a picnic on board. It's non-stop beautiful scenery. If you did want a break, then that's absolutely fine. You can break the journey in Milan. Just, kind of go and see the city for a little while, or just kind of stretch your legs and change trains. And the trains from Geneva to Milan and from Milan to Venice are really frequent. Here is Venice itself, a canal-side paradise that it is. As I said, in October, the weather was absolutely perfect. It was still so warm. It was t-shirt weather, absolutely beautiful. Railbookers organised for us to do sort of a walking tour, entrance to the kind of big landmarks, Doge's Palace, and a boat trip as well, which was maybe my favourite thing that I did there. I'd been to Venice before and hadn't done this. And they do kind of a boat trip we can organise that goes out to Murano, Burano and Ticino. So 3 of the islands surrounding Venice. Burano is definitely my favourite. It's got these amazing multicoloured buildings and lots of kind of little shops and bakeries, and just a wonderful place to spend time. Quiet compared to Venice, and really tiny as well. So that was really nice. Obviously from Venice, if you want to take the Orient Express back home, then yeah, who are we to argue? That sounds absolutely fantastic. But this journey carries on from Venice to Rome. It's 3.5 hours on the high-speed train from Venice down to Rome, which is incredibly quick when you think about it. The train goes through Bologna and through Tuscany. If you wanted to stop off, Florence is the perfect place to do that. It's about halfway, and you can spend a couple of nights in a hotel, add a stay in Florence on, see the amazing Renaissance art and architecture. But Rome, of course, the Italian capital, is one of the world's greatest cities. Certainly one of my favourites. I did a classics degree, so my inner classicist is always very excited by Rome. Obviously, we can arrange skip the line to the Colosseum. We can arrange just the Vatican, whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, you could spend 3 weeks in Rome and not be bored. It's definitely like wandering through a history textbook. Absolutely wonderful city if you haven't visited before. And did you know, many of our customers fly home from the last city in their itinerary. So if you did this trip out all the way down to Rome by train, then you could certainly fly back to wherever your local airport is here in the UK. Alternatively, if you wanted to take the train home instead, that is fine by us. We certainly understand why you'd want to do that. We can arrange a different route home, so a scenic one, back through Switzerland, maybe the Orient Express, or maybe just the regular trains, the quick high-speed trains stopping in Milan or Turin is always our favourite to stop on the way home. One more holiday for you. Brussels, Luxembourg and Cologne. And our head of European Rail Services said to me a couple of days ago, he was really excited, he said, did you know there are direct trains now from Cologne to Luxembourg, whereas you would normally have had to have changed. So that's very exciting if there's ever a better time to do this journey. Obviously, Brussels-Luxembourg itself is a really scenic journey. As you can probably see from the map, it goes through some wonderful scenery there. Obviously, if you wanted to go to Paris instead, there's a direct train, so that would be a really nice alternative, depending on what you want to do. But for the sake of this itinerary, we'll start off in Brussels. We saw a picture of the Grand Place before. There it is again. There was actually an article in the Telegraph this year, earlier on this year in the springtime, I think, and the title of it was something like "Why Brussels is the Most Underrated City in Europe." And I just thought, yes, that's exactly true. It kind of focused on all the different things there are to see and do there, and how, you know, it just doesn't get the attention maybe that it deserves. It spoke about mini Europe and the reproduction of the kind of 80 cities with all the sort of like 350 like landmark buildings kind of all recreated. Really, really interesting, and you know, loads to kind of see and do in Brussels. From there, you can take the train to Luxembourg City, which is a customer favourite of ours here at Railbookers. I'll confess, I've never actually been, but I would love to go. I know it's very famous for its ruins and medieval fortifications. It's kind of cut, the whole city is sort of built around these deep, deep gorges that are made by the rivers that run through it. It's got a fantastically chic design museum there that's really, really popular, and lots of places to kind of people hire bikes and sort of cycle around the city. It's definitely a bit more of an off the beaten track one if you've already discovered a lot of Europe, or if you know, are somebody who likes to tick off countries, then Luxembourg is probably definitely going to be right up your street. It always looks really beautiful, so hoping that I'll get to visit very, very soon. And from there, you can travel to Cologne. We've got lots and lots of people will be going this weekend, of course, for the Christmas markets. Certainly got some of the best Christmas markets in the whole of Germany, right in the shadow of that amazing cathedral that you can see in that image there. But of course, it's wonderful in the summer as well. The summer would probably be my favourite time to go, because Railbookers sometimes add on to our itineraries these amazing Rhine passes. That means you can sort of sail right down the river, you get off at different towns and villages and kind of see all the like quaint little sort of German riverside towns and things along the way, which is a lovely thing to do. Of course, you can't miss a trip to the top of the cathedral to look out at the amazing views over the city. You can see from the cathedral next to the train station there. That just shows you how central the train station is to the city in Cologne. And that's pretty similar across Europe. These train stations are right in the centre of town. You're not going to need, you know, lengthy airport transfers or anything like that when you travel by train. So they were our holidays. Hopefully you've got some inspiration for your next trip to Belgium, to Holland, beyond that as well, of course. We've seen Why But with Railbookers trying to, you know, sort of just show that it's completely tailor-made. It's your holiday. Just let our rail experts work their magic, do what they do best. Hopefully we can organise the perfect trip wherever in the world that is for you next year. We've seen a lot of those different types of holidays. Obviously with city breaks, a lot of these places, Amsterdam, Brussels, Antwerp, Paris, Cologne, Luxembourg, they're the perfect destinations to go on city breaks. These high-speed trains mean that it's possible to, you know, get there so quickly, have a couple of nights, you know, and come back, you know, go out on a Thursday or a Friday and come back at the end of the weekend. That's definitely possible. But of course, we'd always recommend, if you can, you know, adding on as many destinations as you've got time to see. Our top destinations there, apart from, of course, Belgium and Holland and France. Italy, we did that amazing journey through the Alps that we spoke about today. And you can get to pretty much anywhere in Italy that way. Once you get to Milan, that's kind of the railway hub. You can get to the Italian lakes, the Cinque Terre, the Amalfi Coast, you know, as we saw, Venice, Florence, Rome, down to Naples, wherever it is that you want to go. The scenic journeys in Switzerland are certainly very, very popular for all lovers of scenic rail travel, as we are. Spain and Portugal, Scandinavia in Europe, and certainly the USA and Canada as well. In the summer, I was lucky enough to go coast to coast from LA to San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, and then spent the 4th of July in Boston. And the scenery is phenomenal. These are epic bucket list trips, so definitely something I can recommend. A lot of our staff have just come back from going through the Rocky Mountains in Canada, so they'd be more than happy to chat to you about that. There are some wonderful, wonderful journeys that we'd love to share with you. If you don't have a Railbookers brochure for 2018 yet, you are missing out on a fantastic read. You can get one by going to our website, railbookers.co.uk, and then it is simply /request-brochure. Or of course, just give us a ring and we will happily arrange for one to be sent out for you if you'd rather do it that way. That is no problem at all. There's loads of inspiration for rail holidays in there. Here's a little snip of our site. You can see that you can navigate, you can go to destinations and then kind of search wherever it is that you'd like to go for inspiration. Or if you know, then just give us a call and let us get planning for you. And how do you book? That's a great question. You can give us a ring. The number's been there at the bottom of your screen, 0203 780 2382. Wax lyrical about the wonders of rail journeys with our rail experts. Or of course, go and visit your local travel agent as well, and they'll be able to organise your favourite Railbookers holiday for you. We love travel agents here at Railbookers. And the winner is, this is my favourite part of the presentation, and our winner today is Bill Meadows. So Bill, I will be in touch after the webinar, let you know how you can claim your £50 rail holiday voucher. And absolutely everybody is going to be entitled to £25 per person off their next rail holiday. Bill, you can combine these offers. So all you have to do is give us a call, let us know where it is that you would like to go, and let us organise it for you. Thank you so much to everybody who has been in touch today and has asked us lots of questions. Obviously, we love getting questions from you on these webinars. We get so many, so if somebody has asked a question and I don't have time to answer it now because we don't have time for that many, don't worry, one of our team will be in touch with you very, very soon. But we have got a question from Rick, who is asking how far ahead it's possible for him to book. That's a really, really good question. I know that we said kind of at the beginning that you can book before tickets are available to the public, and that is certainly true. But to give you sort of a timeline, at the moment you can book all the way through 2018 and all the way through 2019 and beyond as well. So whenever it is that you want to travel, you know, the early bird gets the worm. Give us a call. Let's have a look into it for you. And yep, so don't, you know, definitely don't be held back thinking that it's too far out. It's almost certainly not. So please do give us a ring about that, Rick. And we've got another question from, let me have a look. Got a good one from Marie, actually. This is a good question. She's asking what the best time of year to travel is. And obviously without knowing exactly which holiday it is, Marie, you know, different holidays will be best at different times of year. But I mean, as far as the trains go, you tell us. The trains travel at all times of year, and all of kind of the you know, the trains that we've seen in this webinar will go every day, multiple times a day. So whenever you want to travel, you just tell us. Obviously, a handful of trains, things like the Orient Express or the scenic trains in Switzerland, won't run all year. They have a little hiatus in the bleak midwinter when it's very, very cold in that part of the world. But you know, and the Orient Express will kind of have set departure dates through the year. It doesn't go every day, but the scenic trains in Switzerland do. You know, it's just kind of what you're looking to get from your holiday. Obviously, if you are looking to get the sunshine, then definitely we'll, you know, recommend you go in the summer. If you want it to be quiet for the museums, then sort of January off-season time is always really, really great. And probably got time for one more. We've got a question from Evelyn, and she is asking what's the advantages of upgrading to first class, or is it possible? What are the advantages? So yes, it is always possible. Where there are more than one class of travel on the train, which is almost all trains, we'll be able to book all of the different classes, whether that's kind of business class on the Italian train, or great example, the ones that we've seen today with Thalys. There's 3 classes of travel now, obviously standard, comfort and premium, so we'll be able to book any of those. Always first class will kind of give you, you know, more leg room, more spacious carriages, different table configurations. So you'll be able to get a table for 2 in most first class carriages, which is always nice. You also get more luggage storage space. So if you're like me and you just have an inability to pack light, that could be great for you. On a lot of the services, like we saw with Thalys, you'll get a meal and a drink included in your fare as well, and lounge access, things like that. So whatever your specific journey you're thinking of is, let us know and we'll have a look. We get really fantastic value upgrades as well, so our rail experts will definitely be able to chat that through with you. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for sitting with us for this webinar. It's been really wonderful. I love having the opportunity to talk to you all directly about the amazing holidays that we offer. But wherever it is that you want to go, you just let us know, and we look forward to be able to organising it for you, whether it's next year or the year after or even in the rest of this year. It's completely up to you. Thank you for taking the time out of your afternoons, and we will see you on the next webinar. Thank you very much.